I have ADHD. It was so hard to sit there through the whole meeting, but I did it. Round of applause. My diagnosis is human, but I also have other diagnoses according to the DSM-5. I grew up on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, New York City, Jew York City, you know, because I am a Jew. The melting pot, and I actually moved to Portland in 2017, and boy was it a culture shock. I was like, white people everywhere. No, it's crazy because I grew up in a melting pot, you know. I mean, nothing against white people, they're great. I guess I'm white. But Jews don't count. The thing is that in New York, it was a melting pot. I mean, I was in elementary school with, like, you know, people named Ahakwa. So, you know, I am kind of used to diversity, and I love Portland, though. I mean, Portland, the reason I moved here is that I felt like I was called to come to the Pacific Northwest. And one of the reasons that I wanted to come here so badly is because of my chronic anxiety disorder. Living in New York City as an introverted child who was in my own world, social anxiety, OCD, ADHD, ABC 1, 2, 3, like all of the things that I have, and didn't know until I was probably 18 is when I first got my diagnosis of depression, which wasn't correct, by the way. But I don't blame the psychiatrist, because a lot of diagnosing is kind of like throwing things around and seeing if they stick. You know those little, like, gooey hand things you had as a child? Throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. Maybe it does. And that's the thing with psychiatric medication too. Does Prozac work? We don't know, let's try it. It's like, and Prozac, by the way, is like a dinosaur in terms of the psychiatric medications we have today, but it's well studied, which is why they recommend it for pregnant women, because they know what it does in rats. Anyway, science is weird. So let's get back to me, because that whole thing was an ADHD tangent. Not a cosine, not a sine, a tangent. Math jokes. Believe it or not, I was really good at math for like 3 seconds of my life. When I was growing up, I had my first panic attack when I was 15. And I've written about this on the Huffington Post. But I'll get to that in a minute. It was utterly, spectacularly terrifying. I thought I was going to die, because if you truly have a panic attack, it's not like, oh, I'm a little nervous. No. You feel like you're going to pass out and die. I was having heart palpitations. I felt like my chest was caving in. There was a reason. Something set it off. So I was reading this comic book by Neil Gaiman called Books of Magic. And in the comic book, I was a nerd, in case you didn't know. The characters were supposed to be immortal, but they died. So then I started thinking and having an existential crisis. And I was like, wow, I'm gonna die. And as this, like, kind of, you know, introverted 15-year-old, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't wanna die. Panic attack. So I'm sitting in my apartment, 15 years old, vulnerable, scared, I don't know what the heck's going on. And I turned to my mom, and I knew my mom would get it because she also has anxiety and was very open about it. And I was like, I need to go outside now. My mom was like, it's go time. So she takes my hand, we go outside. She's like, you're having a panic attack. I'm like, what the heck is a panic attack? I'm 15, you know? Now, I went to the Fame High School in New York City, performing our Fame, I wanna live forever. Right, like that was my high school. So, but I wasn't gonna live forever, which I just found out as I was reading comic books. That was pretty good. I just made that shit up. So I decide that I'm a freak, and I can't reveal my panic attacks because everyone around me is gonna be like, you're crazy. Because it was the 90s, and nobody was like wanting to address mental illness, when guess what? Does anybody know what NAMI is? N-A-M-I? What is it?
National Association of Mental Illness.
National Alliance for Mental Illness. Same thing. Good job. 1 in 5 people have a mental illness in America. So at that table, 1 person has one. At that table, 2 people have one. At that table, 2 people have one, right? Now whether it's anxiety, depression, PTSD, whatever. But again, I go back to, your diagnosis is human. Okay? So I have this panic attack. I'm like, I'm gonna die. My mom's like, you're gonna be all right. I was not okay. So thanks, Mom, for lying. After that, she was trying though. I went to high school, and every day I had to conceal the fact that I was like, I'm weird. Everyone's gonna know that I'm afraid of everything. And I got so sick in high school. The only thing that got me through high school was acting, because I could put all my depression and all my suicidal thoughts and everything into acting. One time I did a scene from Anne Frank, and I remember my classmates saying, that was so amazing, you were so great. And I'm thinking in my head, yeah, because I was suicidal. I was putting all of my depression energy into that. Because, you know, it's exhausting when you have to fight with your mind to not die. Because your mind's like, die, die, die. And you're like, I'm afraid I don't want to die. And it's like, I don't care, you're a loser, die. I mean, when you have repetitive thoughts about killing yourself, it's absolutely horrifying. And to fight with your brain like that is like, you're in a boxing match that nobody can see. Because mental illness is invisible. So you're walking around, I'm walking around with weights all over my body, and nobody can see them. Emotional weights. So anyways, that was again an ADHD tangent. But I'm getting somewhere, I promise. I go through high school, unmedicated, terrified. My senior year of high school, I'm so anxious. Oh no, but so there's an ebb and flow. So like, I finally get through, you know, wanting to kill myself, not eating, getting really sick, going to the hospital, having mono, heartbreak, my boyfriend being like, I can't be with you because you're crazy. But he didn't know, he was 15. He unfriended me on Facebook when I wrote a blog post about him, but whatever. So anyway, but that's because he's a narcissist. So anyway, in my senior year of high school, I was so panicked and anxious because I was gonna leave my parents, and I was raised in an enmeshed Jewish codependent family, and to leave the nest like that and not be, and I was like, how am I going to take care of myself with my mental illness? I don't think I can survive. Boom, panic attack. So worse than when I was 15, because I'm vomiting every day. I'm waking up, throwing up every day because I'm so anxious. People don't realize anxiety can be somatic. Anxiety can affect your whole body. So I'm 18, I'm scared, and I'm like, please Mom, I don't want to go to college, I can't survive, I'm so screwed. And she's like, sorry, you're going to college. I was like, let me take a year off. Nope, you're going to college. That was the best thing my mom ever did for me, because you know what? She didn't enable me. And I realized that day that I am a warrior, because I made a promise to myself and my brain wanted me to die. My brain always wants me to die. I'm like, really, again? So I'm like, every time that my brain wanted me to die, I was like, listen, we gotta talk. And I said, I'm gonna make a promise to you, Sarah Fader. You will never, no matter how bad it gets, kill yourself. You're not allowed to kill yourself. Now that is not something, I don't look down upon suicide survivors. I think that people that attempt to take their life are in an extraordinary amount of pain. And depression kills people. And untreated depression kills people. So if you have suicidal thoughts or you're really depressed, go see your doctor. Go see your GP. They will refer you to somebody who can help you. So again, ADHD tangent, sorry guys. I go to college, oh no, I'm 18, my mom has anxiety, my dad has OCD, he's like Prozacing it up, my mom has Zoloft in her purse, and so I see this like weird, oh no, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from vomiting every day, I'm exhausted from trying to live, because people don't realize when you have mental illness, you're working to survive. Like you're waking up like, I'm gonna put one foot on the ground. I'm gonna put the other foot on the ground. I'm going to make myself shower, and maybe I can't, because there have been times that I haven't showered for 5 days, because I don't feel like there's a point. I don't wanna live, who cares? But that's depression. So I finally am so mentally exhausted, and strangely enough, I was extremely high achieving in high school despite my mental illnesses, because I was able to put energy into something, right? Now, if I was neurotypical, which by the way, I don't think anybody is, but whatever, I think that the bell curve is skewed, and I think that if more people admitted that they had mental illness, there would be no freaking bell curve. I mean, the thing is that, what's normal? Normal doesn't exist, right? So, I wrote many things about this, like, normal is actually a curse word. Normal is detrimental because you're then comparing yourself to this standard that is unrealistic. Nobody, I don't care who you are, can say that they have not experienced some kind of symptom of a mental health issue. Whether it's depression, whether it's PTSD, something has happened to you in your life where you've experienced a mental health issue. It might not be mental illness, but a mental health issue. Do you know what I mean by that? Someone give me an example. Who has experienced a mental health issue they'd like to share? Come on, someone's brave.
The I don't give a crap attitude today.
Yeah.
Still want to do it?
Right, I don't want to do it. It doesn't matter. I have this like repeating thought in my head. I say to my boyfriend, I don't matter. And he's like, yes, you do. But my brain wants to tell me that, right? I just wrote a book with a clinical psychologist. It's called the 10-Step Depression Relief Workbook. When I wrote that book, I wanted to kill myself. So I felt like a fraud. So here I am writing about how to get through depression. I want to fucking die. I'm like, what? You know, this doesn't make sense. But I definitely got through that period of time focusing on writing that book. And guess what? I made $6,000 writing that book and moved to Portland. Single mom, 2 kids, out of an abusive relationship. I mean, if you looked at me, you wouldn't know probably all of the things that I have. ADHD, OCD, bipolar disorder type 1, complex PTSD, probably something else, borderline traits, whatever that means. So, I mean, I think that, and I'm like, which one of you guys is gonna attack me today? Let's see, you know? Or maybe everyone's gonna be quiet, I don't know. There's a lot of people in there. But anyway, so I finally decide I'm going to see this bizarre Swedish psychologist on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. I'm like, this is so lame. And I sit down with her. I think she was Swedish. She was some kind of Scandinavian. She's like, would you like to try Prozac or Zoloft? And I was like, I don't know, my dad works on Prozac, so I'll try Prozac, sure, why not? And I remember this moment, I took Prozac and my brain was blank and I was like, what? This is what normal people must feel like. Like it just took all the garbage out of my brain. And if anybody says, oh, you know, SSRIs change your personality, great. I want to be able to function. Thank you, Prozac. So eventually Prozac stopped working for me. And again, I'm still secretive, right? I go to college, you know, I went to Ithaca College for a year and a half and studied theater. And I'm taking my Prozac in the bathroom, like I don't want to tell anybody about it. and then I meet somebody who is also depressed, like I meet a friend, and I'm like, oh, you too? And like, we can talk about it. Again, it was like the late 90s, you know? So, and I graduate from college, I'm still not talking about it. I do a bunch of things that are too extensive to go in through, whatever. I transferred back to NYU, so I graduated from NYU, which is great to put on a resume, because when I was going there, it wasn't that awesome, and now it's like, oh, NYU, I'm like, you don't even know. So like, yeah, and I'm like $50,000 later in debt, thanks. So then, and thank you, Sally Mae, who's now Navy it. Anyway, so I graduate from NYU. Sometimes I cannot believe that I graduated from high school at all because I was so sick, but I did. I eventually have kids and get married in that order because, you know, whatever, hippies. And I start blogging, and I decide, you know what, the world is different now. It's, you know, 2008, and no, at that point it's 2014. I decide that I want to come out of the closet, and I'm tired of hiding my thing, what I'm dealing with. Now, at the time, I thought I had panic disorder. Oh, and also the list of medications that I've been on, it could be like the Odyssey. Like, it's so long, you know? It's like a tome. But, and then, did you notice that psychiatric medications sound like aliens? Like, all of them? You're like, Prozac? Is that a robot? You're like, what? I mean, they should really be a little more creative or user-friendly, you know? It's pretty funny, though. Like, I kind of want to make a Prozac robot. I should do that. So in any case, things are better. I have my kids, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get on the Huffington Post. Like, one day I'm just like, and this is the way that I am. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And people are like, how are you gonna do that? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just gonna do it. So I start doing, I write my story, and, well, I got in the Huffington Post, but that's another story, it's too long. So I got in the Huffington Post for something else, and I'm like, great, I have a giant platform. So now I'm going to come out of the closet. So I wrote this post called Fighting Against the Stigma of Mental Illness. And the first sentence is, I have panic disorder. And I was like, whoosh, I got it out, finally. It was my Jesus year. I turned 33. And I was like, I'm just gonna say it. And I got a copious amount of emails. One of this woman from South America was like, thank you for saying that. I also have panic disorder, and when you told your story, I related to it. I want a place to tell my story. So I scoured the internet. I was like, there's no place to tell anybody's story about mental illness. Okay, well, I'll just create one. So now in the midst of this, I'm getting I'm separating from my abusive husband. And it was nasty, and I had PTSD probably because of that. But my lawyer was like, you can't blog. Don't talk about yourself because it can be used against you in court. So what the hell am I gonna do? Okay, so I'm gonna share other people's stories, because they also were trying to use my mental illness against me in court. And they were trying to be like, you're a bad mom, because how are you gonna parent with, you know, all of your mental illnesses, and you don't shower? And I'm like, are you serious? When is there time to shower as a mother? I'm sorry. And how does this make me a bad mom? That's so dumb. So I'm like, all right, so at the time, my friend Thomas Cantley is a testicular cancer survivor, and he was going around asking people to share their stories about surviving cancer. He calls himself Mr. Ballsy, which is hilarious. And I was like, you know what? He's doing that with cancer. I'm gonna do that with mental illness. So I doubled the word count. I said 1,000 words. I've been blogging for like 10 years. I'm like, here we go, let's do this. I reached out to all my blogger friends that were like open and had like anxiety in their Twitter profile, depression. And I was like, wanna write your story? How wonderful to be able to talk about yourself. I mean, that appeals to the narcissist in all of us. You know, so it's like, yes, I would like to talk about myself, thank you. So it's like, I bought stigmafighters.com, and I just started posting these essays. one by one by one, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's a website. I don't even know we're submitting essays. And then I meet my business partner, Allie Burke, and she's really cool. And I'm like, what do you do? And she's like, I work for Honda in LA. So that's cool. And I get to know her. And what illness do you think she has? She's a quality assurance person for Honda.
OCD.
Keep going.
Anxiety?
Nope.
Bipolar.
Nope. Keep going. There's lots of mental illnesses. Come on, work harder.
Panic attacks.
Depression.
Nope. Paranoid schizophrenia.
I was gonna say that next.
Because she works at Honda?
Probably. No, I mean, so this woman has one of these most severe mental illnesses, psychotic features, hallucinations, all kinds of things, and delusions, works in corporate America, and is not medicated for schizophrenia.
She's what?
Not medicated? No.
Not medicated. Oh, wow. She's functional. That's amazing.
She's very rare. She's a unicorn. So, and she's beautiful, she's wonderful, she's amazing. I can't say enough good things about her. She was medicated before, but here's the thing. Has anybody in this room ever taken an antipsychotic medication? Seroquel, Abilify, Lamictal, no. Okay, so antipsychotic medications, if you did not have bipolar or anything schizophrenia and you took Seroquel, you'd be asleep for like 9 days. Like, they are so sedating. That sounds like Sleeping Beauty. That's not gonna happen. But you know what I mean? You'd feel like a bus hit you. So she's like, how the hell am I supposed to go to work and be so sedated and talk to customers? No, thank you. But the way that she functioned was when she was hallucinating, she would go, that's not real. And she would listen to her brain and be like, I know what that is. That's a symptom of schizophrenia. It's not real. Which is extremely rare that somebody can do that. No, but she's a genius. She also taught me how to react to people on the internet that attack you. It's damn genius. It's very short. Usually if someone's attacking you online, it's coming out of emotion. It's never logical. So if you look at what they're saying, look and scour it for logic. Usually there is none. So then you say, what's a logical response to this? It's like, if somebody was like, you can't be bipolar because you're not angry. And then you respond, statistically, the symptoms of bipolar are, and then they can't say anything because you're citing research. You know what I mean? So it's like logic, emotion, logic, Okay, I'm almost done because everyone's gonna be like, why are you still talking? But again, you really, I mean, you brought a Jew from New York. You did this to yourself. So then I formed Stigma Fighters with Allie. We have all these essays, we're posting them like crazy, and then we hire, everyone's volunteering. I have all my internet friends volunteering, and you know what? Anyone that says that internet friends aren't real should just go away, because they are. It's like pen pals. But I've met many of my internet friends in real life, because the internet's not real life. But anyway, don't get me started. So our admin, who we met online, is like, you should start compiling these essays into a binder. Print them out. And I was like, no, we're gonna make a book. So we open it up and we say, who on Stigma Fighters wants to put their story in a book? 50 people already, or yes. So we published the Stigma Fighters Anthology, Volume 1. It was the most ADHD disorganized process of getting things done. And I would be like, can we add another one? Allie's like, I'm going to kill you. No more. So we publish it, with a hybrid publisher, then it eventually goes under, and then we're like, okay, we'll just self-publish it. So one thing leads to another. I write, and then eventually I have a Psychology Today column, and then eventually this person from the Washington Post is like, hey, can I interview you? And I'm like, yes. And then I'm on the front page of the Washington Post, like A1 of the Washington Post, with a picture of me looking like a badass. And I'm like, I'm framing this. And then I start a viral hashtag, this is what anxiety feels like, in Cosmopolitan, in all of the Refinery 29, all these different places. And then I get a New York Times reporter reaching out to me going, can I interview you? I'm like, yes. And then, so my life is crazy, and I'm crazy, but crazy doesn't mean anything. So, you know, when someone calls you crazy, and I'll leave it at this, and then you should go buy my books. And look at me online and read my stuff and laugh and cry and relate. I also wrote a book. I have a viral article on the Huffington Post unrelated to mental illness called 3-Year-Olds Are Assholes. And they are. Yeah. So the woman on HuffPost Live that interviewed me was like, really could not stifle her laughter. It was amazing. And then some stupid idiot stole my idea and wrote Toddlers Are Assholes, the book. I was like, that was mine. But it's America, and people steal things. But you know what, here's the thing is that I'm glad that that's not what I'm known for. I'm glad that I'm known for this rather than that, because this is more passionate, you know? And then some stupid person online was like, how can you be a mental health advocate and be calling children assholes? I was like, you need to go away, just go. I'm advocating for your mom. I just leave. It's like, absolutely not. Sometimes you just have to go back to 5th grade and be like, just go away. I'm not playing with you and you can't go on the monkey bars. They're mine. So now Washington Post, New York Times, I just published the 4th volume of the Stigma Fighters Anthology. One of the best moments of my entire life was I did a reading of the anthology at Barnes & Noble on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and I was like, I have arrived, because that's my old neighborhood. And I'm gonna leave you with this. I'm gonna just give you an excerpt from my essay. It's gonna be like 2 minutes. Don't kill me, Alex. Hold on. Oh, and also, I just founded an independent publishing company, so if anyone wants to write a book, let me know. And I'm serious, I'm not just saying things. I think it might be the beginning. And then I'm gonna leave and come buy my book, because I'm poor. Writers don't make a lot of money, as you might imagine. But then people don't want to pay them. I'm like, it's a service. Would you ask someone to build a house for free? No. And you know what? It's like my friend who's a writer says, just because you can sing in the shower doesn't mean you should cut an album. Not everybody can write. Same thing. Hi, my name is Sarah Fader and I have mental illness. I've lived with panic disorder and depression for my entire adult life. I began having panic attacks as a teenager, and they continued into adulthood. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children. I'm a sister, a daughter, a friend, and a human being. I'm a survivor, a warrior, a writer, a poet, an actor, and an artist. I'm many things, but I'm not crazy. Crazy is a derogatory word. Crazy is a curse word in my book, which I have yet to write. Do not call me crazy. Call me brave, call me scared, call me Sarah, but do not call me crazy, because I'm not. I'm Sarah, and I'm a multitude of other adjectives that don't include that word. I'm your neighbor. I'm sitting next to you on the train. I'm talking to you at the grocery store. I'm smiling to you as we pass one another on the street. I'm just like everyone else you meet, only I'm not. Because I live with a significant mental illness that challenges me every day. My mental illness is like an annoying neighbor who won't get the hint when you want her to go home. My mental illness is my nemesis. It fools me. It tells me I'm worthless. It tells me to give up. Stop. Go no further. Don't do that. Don't succeed. You're not enough. You're not worthy. I fight those thoughts every day. But here's the thing. Someone you're sitting next to in this room is just like me, but they won't tell you that. Mentally ill people living among us. They're just silenced continually by our society. So stop. Look around you and know that if you've been called crazy, you're not alone. I'm standing beside you, waving my freak flag high, because I'm taking crazy back. You can't have it anymore. There is no crazy, only human. Thank you.